Hello, my name is John Mad Dog Call, and I'm the Executive Director of Linux International. My talk today is about cryptocurrency and small business. The agenda of the talk is a brief introduction to myself and my history, my impressions of what cryptocurrencies and blockchain are, an idea for commerce around these currencies and technologies, a delivery mechanism for that solution, and then a summary of the entire talk. Who is Mad Dog? I've been in the computer industry for over 50 years. I've been a programmer, a systems administrator, a marketing person, a product manager, a CEO, a consultant, an educator, and a wide variety of other things. In 1994, I met Linus Torvalds and saw free software for the first time, and I decided that this was a good thing. Most of the things that I'm really proud of is the fact I'm pragmatic. I try and get things done. I try and choose the right tool for the right time and the right job. I'm not religious about things. I'm also not a crypto expert, nowhere near as many as it's in this room, virtual or otherwise, but I do have a rough grasp of what it is, and I do like the idea. So, this is a warning. This is not a current product or service. It's merely a proposal. I think it can be done. I think it would have great benefit. About 10 years ago, I began to realize that people don't really buy hardware and they really don't buy software. Most people do not buy a piece of hardware and glue it to the wall with a candle on either side like a shrine, unless, of course, your name is Steve Wozniak and the hardware is an Apple One. They don't buy a box of software and glue it to the wall with a candle on either side, unless your name is Bill Gates or Larry Ellison and it's a box of Microsoft Office or Oracle. They buy a solution. They have a problem they want to solve and they want to solve that problem. So they buy a solution. And even if that problem was how do they play a game? And the solution was to use two tin cans and a string to tie them together, then that's what people would do. And so when you start to think about every issue and every problem like that, whole new avenues open up in front of you. Now, like I said, I'm not an expert in cryptocurrency and blockchain. I think of cryptocurrency simply as a digital medium of exchange. I have some crypto coins and I want to buy something, and you have some product I want to buy, and so I give you my crypto coins and you have them then. They belong to you. They go into your wallet, whatever that is. It can be an asset. You could hold on to the crypto coins and go up and down, but I don't really think of them that way. I don't really see that. You can mine crypto coins, you can bring them into existence. I'm really not interested in that. I'm really interested in the digital medium of exchange and what that can do for the world. Likewise, with the blockchain, I look at it as electronic distributed ledger. That's all I think of it as. It's not something mystical or magical or anything like that, but it's a way of keeping track of these transactions. And then there's smart contracts, things that if the situation is right, you can go ahead and execute the transaction, and this speeds up commerce and lowers its cost. So, why isn't everybody using these? Well, a lot of it is a lack of understanding. Um, most people don't even really understand fiat currency. They don't really understand the issues of credit and loans and all the different things that go into our regular forms of currency and medium of exchange. They have a fear of loss around cryptocurrency. Yes, they hear about people make millions of dollars and become very rich with cryptocurrency as an asset, but they also hear about people who lose their wallets and it's gone forever. And while it's true you can have money burn up and you can have people cause scams and things like that, people are more used to that. And so they don't fear it as much, although perhaps they should. They also hear about the rapidly changing values in cryptocurrency. And they say, well, it's great if I get the cryptocurrency and it goes up in value somehow. But what happens if inflation comes and it goes down in value? I can hear it could go down very quickly. That's something that troubles me. And then, of course, they also hear about hackers breaking into systems and hardware and software failure that cause people to lose money. There's another thing about cryptocurrency. It just isn't as easy in a lot of ways as pulling some money out of your wallet and handing it to the clerk, or pulling your credit card out of your pocket and handing it to the clerk. Now, I'm old enough to remember when credit cards were new, and they were very suspicious, and only certain stores would accept them, and only for certain amounts. You could not charge a pack of gum or something like that on a credit card. It just was too expensive to do that. And so credit cards themselves were slower and tended to be for larger value purchases. Along those lines, they look at cryptocurrency as being too expensive. After all, you have to take your fiat currency or something like that, take it down to an exchange, wherever that is, and pay a certain fee to have your cryptocurrency, or to have your fiat currency changed into cryptocurrency. So, what I'm going to present is a system where we could work cryptocurrency and blockchain into the system and be almost invisible to the people using it. So ODOO is a open source point of sale and enterprise resource planning piece of software. I'm sure many of you have gone to McDonald's and you've seen the cash register there, and the people press the things on the touch screen and they ring up your order, and then magically your bill appears with the taxes all calculated, and you get the receipt, and you then go and pick up your order someplace. Or you're at the supermarket and the items are coming down, and you see the person scan in the barcode and they weigh the bananas and they hit the touch screen to say it's bananas. And then the cash drawer opens up and you give them the money and the printer prints out your receipt and everything. Those are point of sale terminals. And you can buy them from very large companies like Oracle and others, and they may cost 3,000 US dollars a piece. So if you have three sets of, or three places for people to collect your money, you need three of them. And this is, of course, very expensive, but that isn't the worst part of it. There typically is software standing behind the point of sale terminal that does inventory and customer relationship management and ordering and things like that. This is called enterprise resource planning software. And it's typically closed. You can't change it. It's owned by the company that made it. You can only use it. And so everything about it is expensive. Well, ODOO is an open source free software version of that. And you can put ODOO on a single board computer like a Raspberry Pi or like a Caninos Locos Labrador computer. Very inexpensive. And you can plug in your USB keyboard, mouse, scale, scanner, printer, cash drawer, almost anything into this little single board computer, and lo and behold, you have a complete point of sale and ERP system. This particular project, ODOO, is a worldwide phenomenon. Every single country has people who support and install and maintain ODOO systems, and it's actually being installed at about the rate of 1,000 installations per day. Originally, ODOO started as completely free software, but then there were some people that said, well, some of this stuff really requires hard work to do, and we're going to close those off and charge people money for them. But then another group came along and said, hey, we're going to rewrite all of those modules that are closed, and we are going to make them free again. Now, what we can do is integrate cryptocurrency and blockchain into the ODOO software. And this would bring about this type of scenario. A customer comes into your store, and the customer has Fred cryptocurrency. And the customer gives this cryptocurrency or says to the store owner, do you accept Fred? And the merchant says, yes, we accept Fred for purchase of products. And so ODOO looks up the value of Fred and says, oh, well, Fred is worth this much reais, and then takes and compares how much Fred you have to buy a certain amount of the product which the customer is trying to buy. The customer then buys the goods and services and pays in Fred, transfers Fred into the wallet of the store. The merchant now has Fred in their wallet as an asset, and the merchant has made an additional sale that they might not have made if they hadn't accepted Fred. Now, the merchant says, well, I've got this Fred, but what can I do with it? Well, you can have an online database of suppliers to the merchant that accept Fred for their supplies. And so the merchant says, well, I just sold, a pound of bananas. I obviously need to replace that. Maybe I'm going to buy 5 pounds of bananas. And my banana supplier accepts Fred. So I can buy 5 pounds of bananas with Fred, with the Fred I have. And maybe that uses up all of the Fred. But maybe you still have some Fred left over, so you look for other things which you need in the store. Maybe you need green beans, and the green bean supplier uses Fred. Smart contracts can negotiate for the best suppliers, the best shipping prices, the best taxes for all of this, and give you the best choice of getting these products. The merchant then goes ahead and buys the products with Fred to replenish their stock, and all of the Fred is missing from their wallet. Here's a second customer scenario. The customer comes in and pays with a fiat currency. However, the manager doesn't have enough of that fiat currency to give change. The manager says, would you accept Fred as change for your thing at this exchange rate? And the customer says, yes, I'd be happy to do that. So the customer pays back as much Fred as they want to pay, and pays back perhaps with some fiat in that case, and the system keeps track of how much of each they have to put in. The goal here is to keep the crypto in circulation so that any one time the store owner, the merchant, has a small amount of that in their possession, and what they're doing is they're getting these additional sales, just like what happened with credit cards way back when. This is also a very small time that if inflation is going on, that the inflation would actually happen and take effect. The advantage of this system is that cryptocurrency is really just then viewed as another payment type, along with the fiat currency, along with all the different credit cards, the store cards, the debit cards, and everything else. The store owner really doesn't have to know anything about cryptocurrency. They don't have to go through any exchanges or anything like that. The cryptocurrency just keeps getting circulated very rapidly. Smart contracts can be used to keep the stock up to date according to the inventory mechanisms that are already built into ODOO. Now, the supplier database of who accepts Fred and who doesn't could either be kept locally at the store, or it could be kept at a server system someplace, or combination of both. And we could set this up so that any cryptocurrency could be used as long as the store owner is willing to accept it, and that reasonable number of people accept it for doing merchandising. So what is Project Cawan? Project Cawan has been under development for 12 years. It was originally made to create a more efficient computing, more efficient use of electricity by retrofitting old buildings that, instead of using very strong energy usage computer systems, to use single board computers, very, very low power single board computers, and server systems. It was also set up to enable students to earn money to go to university. Now, all of this is still a part of the goals of Project Caua. Universities in Latin America are nice because if it's a federal or state university, you can go tuition free if you're a qualified student. If you studied hard in high school, you got good grades, you took the entrance exams and you passed, you could go tuition free. In the United States, there's a lot of very expensive universities that you can spend tens of thousands of dollars a year in tuition. However, 40% of the qualified students in Latin America cannot afford the apartment or the internet or the computers or the books or the food or the transportation that goes with being a student even at one of these universities. And therefore they have to turn down the chance to get their education. Other times students get, quote, student jobs. This is like flipping hamburgers or being the clerk at the hotel at night. And there's nothing wrong with those jobs. It's just not the jobs that the students really wanted when they went to university. So Project Cawan allows the students to take the information and knowledge they already have to help small business people with their computers, to make sure that the computers have enough disk space, make sure they aren't attacked by viruses, to make sure that they have all they need to be able to be efficient. And what happens is we take these students who may have been supporting their family's computers since the age of 8, or maybe their neighbor's computers or things like that, and we teach them how to run a business. We train these computer savvy students in how to form a service contract, how to advertise their skills to small business people, and how to manage their time, because this is going to be a part-time job of maybe 24 hours a week for the students while they are going to university. They could also subcontract to other students for the things that they themselves do not know how to do, and Project Caua would teach them how to do all of this. We've developed a 3-tier website. The top tier of the website explains the entire program, what we're trying to do, and it maintains the products for the entire program, the things that the students could sell to their customers around the world. The middle tier is a country-by-country tier because different countries have different legal needs, different languages, different advertising that they're going to do. And we want to be able to tailor the information to each country in this middle tier. Finally, there is a third tier, which for each country we have many, many local groups. And these groups would do things like provide local help. They would provide mentorship for the students because a lot of the students are a little shy. They've never sold themselves before. They don't know how to do that. So we reach out to business groups, like small business groups, like the Alumni Association of Universities, the Financial Office of Universities, for people who are willing to act as mentors for the students. Originally, Project Caua was supposed to be a service-only thing. The students would not deal with hardware, they would not deal with selling products, but the students suggested they wanted a solution to sell and service to their customers. And so one of the first solutions we thought of was ODOO. Afterwards, we also thought about setting up a NAS server to tie together all the different computers that a business would have. We thought about having a smart TV-like service for at home that would also provide security, voice over IP, and Internet of Things capability. And lately, we've also been trying to put together a multimedia laptop that would allow people to go out to an event and capture all of the video and audio and everything, edit it, and then be able to put it up to a website while they are still at the event. Project Caua would do all of the project integration and sales. Across the world, most of these products would be exactly the same. There would be a few tailorings for different countries, like language and things like that, but most of this could be integrated at the uppermost level of the website. All of the information and all of the projects would be GPL or Creative Commons. So you do not even have to belong to Project Caua to take advantage of this. And we would publish everything on the website read only. None of the students would ever pay any money to Project Cawan unless, of course, they wanted to buy specific things that required money, like professional insurance or perhaps marketing materials or whatever. But to actually access Project Caua and to work with it, they don't have to pay anything. Project Caua would then create kits on a country level and sell these to the Project Caua professionals. The low volumes would allow us to create a revenue stream of Project Caua and FOSH projects to help to sustain the product. But they would still be getting the things we're selling to them below the price that they would be able to buy them themselves. So in summary, ODOO can supply inexpensive, open, point-of-sale, and ERP systems worldwide, and support cryptocurrencies and blockchain as another medium of exchange. Project Caua professionals can sell, install, and train small shopkeepers in how to use this, explain cryptocurrencies to them, explain blockchain to them, and act as promoters of cryptocurrencies which benefit them and benefit all of you. So with that, I will take questions, and I thank you very much for listening to my talk.